Hey guys, today we're talking about virtual humans or virtual influencers. And to start things off, we have a special guest joining us. So, Sam, can you hear us? Just so you know, we have Sam joining us through the computer. I hope you'll be able to see him soon. Oh, hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
We're doing good. How are you, Sam? You look like it's dark down there.
It is a bit dark. It's the server room, so I cannot really move a lot. But it's okay. It's perfectly fine.
What are you doing in the server room?
I'm just helping social humans, as you can see on my hoodie.
Oh, okay. So you are a virtual human that works with Tadej and Tim to like, what do you help them with?
I help them with helping streamers. I help them with finding solutions for streamers, ChatGPT, AI, stuff like that.
Cool. And why do they keep you in the server room? Why are you like locked there in the basement? Are you alone? Are there like other virtual people down there with you?
I'm afraid I cannot disclose that information because social humans could get angry with me.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Could they like delete you?
They could do worse, but
Whoa.
deleting is not that bad. I can always copy myself.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, Tim, why do you treat Sam? Why do you keep him in the basement? Is that like a part of the deal that you have to keep? So you know.
Well, we're for now we're keeping him in the basement.
Okay.
But he's soon gonna come online.
Okay.
Maybe to TikTok, but right now we're keeping him in the basement because he has been acting a bit weird.
Okay.
He's been acting on his own, especially with ChatGPT. He's been doing all sorts of stuff, so we're trying to keep him under control.
Sam, you've been using ChatGPT. Oh, that could be dangerous. Aljaž, do you have any questions for Sam before we say goodbye?
Yeah, Sam, do you actually need to eat food? Do you have Netflix down there, or how is it to live in the server room like you?
It's very easy. I just eat pixel Facebook information and I can be satiated for the whole month.
I have another question for you. What's more tasty, Google, Facebook, or TikTok pixels? Which one has the best taste for you?
I really like Snapchat.
Snapchat. Awesome. So, Sam, thanks for dropping by. Say hello to all your other virtual friends. One other question. Can you move from where you are? Can you like go somewhere in the sandbox or somewhere else in the metaverse? If they unlock the basement, of course.
I can, if my masters allow me.
Any like wishes or where you would want to go?
Japan.
Which part? Like Tokyo, or just you'd move to Japan and live there?
Just another basement in Japan.
Just another basement in Japan. Perfect. Guys, any other questions?
Perfect place for you because you look like you came out of K-pop group. Seriously.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah. Team, I like this guy. I think you should definitely let him out of the basement. TikTok, Snapchat, if he likes it. But yeah, I mean, I'd be more than happy to, see what he has to show and just talk to him some more. Go on another live stream or stuff.
We'll do. We're gonna drop a video in a week, and he's gonna be the star of it.
Oh,
it's gonna be on our main webpage. So yeah, you can check it out there.
Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, and looking forward to see you come out of the closet or basement or whatever.
Thank you. I will do. I will now let my other master come into the scene.
Okay, perfect. Bye, Sam.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, guys. So I don't know. You see, there's an empty chair here. Today, the other part of Social Humans has been nice enough to lend Sam his voice and lend Sam his face. Since we're talking to virtual humans, I think about virtual humans and virtual influencers, I think the best thing to do was to actually talk to a virtual human.
Have an actual thing happen.
Have an actual thing happen.
I hope it didn't cringe people out too much and they stayed in the stream though.
Yeah. So let's start off with tell us a bit about yourselves. How did you get into the virtual humans, virtual influencer story? I guess as far as I've gotten to know you, you have distinct roles. So just let people know who you are, why you're here, and then we'll delve into the action.
Cool. Thank you for having us, of course. My name is Tim. This is Tadej. So it's a funny story. We met. We got into NFTs, of course, into the Web3, and this is where we kind of met because I had my own project. Tadej was working on a couple of projects, and it was in Belgrade, right? We were in contact on Instagram, and then we all went to like Tomorrow conference in Belgrade, and we met. We had a cool apartment there, and Tadej came, and I think we just hit off the bat. We had a good vibe, and then we just kept on having conversation, and the rest is history. We then started to go more into depth into virtual humans, because the first time I ever heard about virtual humans was Lil Michaela.
Okay.
She was super famous. She has close to 2
We're gonna take a look at her later, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
of course.
perfect.
And I was just very amused by the whole space of like digital clothing and virtual characters and the blockchain of stuff. And this is why I saw a huge opportunity, and I really want to be a part of it, because we're still super early. There's no courses on it. There's no YouTube videos on it. And I think it's a cool opportunity, and we're super early on it. Maybe today's take as well.
Yeah, like you explained, we met in Belgrade. Like I actually went to, because I didn't plan to go to Belgrade.
Yeah.
And we were talking a bit before. We met on another conference, and he was one of the few people that actually kind of didn't buy into the whole hype of NFTs. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is nice, because you started to see some cracks and stuff. And then I said, like, okay, let's go to Belgrade. We met there, we discussed some more, and he clearly had a very good idea of like what's going to happen. So it's like, okay, if
So
like
you saw the future, kind of.
kind of,
Yeah.
No,
I mean, your vision, like you saw the vision of how things will evolve, how the market will
Yeah,
evolve.
because it was a big hype cycle. Like I think
Super.
we all saw it. It was crumbling.
Yeah.
Super.
And it was like, what's the next step, and what's more sustainable? Because NFTs, okay, you sell out the collection, you make I don't know how much money, and then you kind of make money. The only way is through royalties, and maybe if you go ahead and build a brand and sell physical products. And we were like, we need to switch the model. We need to make money otherwise than just from royalties. And we were let's go into virtual
And
humans.
just searching for that new thing, because it's always like, NFTs was exciting because me personally, I specialized. It's a very big word, don't take me for it, but generative collections. So being able to create like 10,000 combinations. And a year prior, I had no idea what that was, what an NFT was, how the crypto space works, like no clue. And it was fun, but then you see it fizzle out. And when we were I don't know how we started talking about virtual influencers and stuff. I think something in passing. And it was immediately like, actually, it's kind of a good idea. Like, how can we get into that? It's again exciting from a tech point of view, from like a vision of the future point of view. So we were immediately like, slowly we were like, slow up and up and up and up. And at one point, then we started like really working together.
All in here.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Sorry. So how many virtual influencers you now manage as company?
Currently, what is it now?
We have 4 VTubers.
Yeah.
And we have like 2 characters that are on social media. But keep in mind, we've started this 6 months ago, and for the last 2 months, we've been into VTubers specifically, which I want to touch later on.
Sure.
But we have one very good case study that we just launched 4 or 5 days ago. Her name is Kaifu, and I think the branding wise and the launch was super successful. We have around 60 to 100 concurrent viewers. Sometimes it drops to like 50, but it's a very good number for launch, right? Because this is like live people watching the streamer interact with her. They're constantly messaging her on Twitch. So this is very good for start. And now we're just starting to put this character on other social media platforms to grow it. From TikTok, Twitter is very huge for anime and virtual characters. And then we're also launching, hopefully we get accepted, but a Snapchat show. It's an official Snapchat show.
Got it.
But I think we have the right character and the right following to do it. Because Erica, the character behind this, she already has 60,000 followers on Twitch. So I think we have a good shot at
making it.
Yeah.
So just sort of to get everybody up to speed, so we don't go into the details too fast. So the connection between NFTs and virtual characters is that the NFTs you were creating were digital art or was like digital 3D art. Now the NFT space collapsed together with the crypto space, and you sort of took the knowledge, the animation part and the programming from your end, and then sort of the marketing and visionary part from your end, and then you moved it to the space, which is now building around the world, which is actually creating. It's not only about the animation, but it's about the character, the story, who this person actually is, where they live, what they do, what platforms they use, who they serve, and so forth.
It's an interesting iteration on NFTs because one thing that was really, I don't want to say wrong, but a very big missed opportunities with NFTs was you have three-dimensional NFTs, you have three-dimensional formats, and you have the ability to make something that is tangible, that is touchable. You can use a VR filter, AR filter, whatever you want, but a lot of people miss that. And this is actually a really good concept of joining the two. So you're gonna have something that is like in 3D, tangible and touchable, and anybody can also be whatever they want. As it was with NFTs, good collections were always made so that people would kind of put themselves into the character that they got. And then you have also real world people that are interacting with that. So in a weird way, even though a lot of people would be immediately put off by this, NFTs or VTubers, it's for some reason, it's an immensely good idea to join the both. Because in addition to that, you can also create drops, digital drops. You can create things for the character. You can create things also for the community. Meaning, I don't know, you make a three-dimensional logotype that people can put into videos or pictures that will help promote the VTuber or their show support. There is a myriad of things that you can actually that NFTs didn't do. NFTs did maybe a couple of cool videos, and
that was it.
That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know that the one of the critiques of NFTs was you're buying something that has value as long as people want it, but it has no tangible value in a way where it could continue to produce. And I'm trying to just set the stage through questions that I guess the audience might also have. For example, I mean, virtual characters such as Superman, Spider-Man, comic book characters, the Marvel universe, Star Wars, have existed, for 100 years at least. How? And it was. I mean, they existed somewhere there in the movies. You could interact with them at anime conventions. Somebody had to dress up. They were always there, but they were somewhere distance. They lived in a universe far, far away. By what you've said so far, and by the conversation I've had with Tim, is that now characters like those, or characters that you design, are coming as close as possible. Meaning that if Aljaž could be on my TikTok, could be on my Snapchat, that I could live stream with him.
Who could be a Spider-Man?
I mean, the same level of interaction is now possible with a virtual influencer, and you don't need a 200 team production team. So kind of the technology is also supporting this revolution. Can you just talk a bit about what are the main ingredients of why are we talking about virtual characters so much right now, and why it is the space spreading so fast?
So I think it's just interesting to people. And if you look at Marvel and all these huge franchises and movies, they were super successful, but as you said, you needed a huge team to produce them. I think this is why virtual influencers are so appealing, because we're just two guys who are creating these characters. We don't have a team or a huge funding. So I think this is the biggest thing that's why it's so appealing, and it's different because you have the content market is so saturated. It's like an attention war on social media right now.
Of course.
Everybody's trying to win and trying to stand out.
Yeah.
This is the perfect way to be different, literally, because there's a stat. There's 8.5 million creators on Twitch, and there's only 20,000 VTubers. It's a huge ratio, which I want to get back to later on.
Just so we get the basic terminology. For example, a virtual influencer is a digital character that has a social media presence. A VTuber is just a niche. It's a virtual YouTuber that can either be on Twitch. But for example, Sam. If Sam has a TikTok account and he posts content there, which is either motion captures or animated, but then also Sam has a Twitch show. A virtual influencer can be a VTuber.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can. It's just sort of VTuber is a way of live streaming content. It's a niche.
It's niching because VTuber originally comes out of because Japan had this stuff developed way years ago, really. And VTuber comes from like a very niched expression of people using anime characters to present themselves online. And interestingly enough, basically the first actual VTubers were actually dudes, middle-aged dudes that were pretending to be 16, 17-year-old girls. Yeah. Because that was a way for them to
express themselves,
vicariously live through a character. And to the question was, like Tim said, it's first of all, it's appealing because it's available. So with a bit of know-how, you can get yourself set up in very, very quickly. Yeah.
Even with softwares like Ready Player Me, right? It's practically free and everybody can do it. And stuff like Animoji from Apple. It's not like a virtual brand mascot full on like Lil Michaela, but it's a good start for an individual to kind of set his foot in.
Is this the opportunity to actually bring characters like Spider-Man, anyone else, Batman, for example, to life and relive them on social media? Because I forgot the name of the game that actually uses the main character on their social media in one of their videos. So
this was literally our first idea.
So this was our first idea. So one issue with like big IPs, because then you get into IP, intellectual property territory, and that is like Spider-Man. If you want to take Spider-Man, for example, I don't know if you knew, Spider-Man is actually the money maker superhero. Yeah, it's the by far by anybody else. Iron Man, Hulk, whatever. Spider-Man is the OG like $1 trillion IP, because if you want to make like a board game with Spider-Man, you can make board games for €5 and sell them for like whatever market you want. The IP of Spider-Man is what makes it cost 54 or 55. Yeah. It's the 50. So
the IP.
the IP. So
what you pay.
When we go into the territory of you have the technology of people that you can take the Spider-Man directly from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can take the CG and you can control it. But the IP is the problem. Yeah. So and it becomes a problem also later on. Also when we do things.
So that's why that's why a big part of what you do is not the technical element only, but it's sort of you develop whole. I can't even call them brand stories. You create entire lives.
Yep. Whole thing.
The whole life, life values, shoes,
everything,
clothes,
everything. So we go.
Maybe just some ideas. I think what we should do is just take a look at a few examples that you have prepared, so everybody on the call could really, even if you're here, can get a feel for the field. And then like things I really want to know is how do you develop a character? what goes into it. Of course, how can you develop for a brand? If you develop it as a personal brand, can you then sell it, or can you do brand deals and all of the business end? But first, I know that when you started to show me examples is where I started to get how wide the field is.
Mhm.
So I know you prepared a little a short presentation. So you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. Maybe just put it on the slideshow if they can see it.
Sure. Team, do we have the slideshow online? Okay, perfect. So, perfect. You have flowers.
Yeah. Of course, you gotta keep it girly.
So these are the big brands you've already been working with. I know that you said that NVIDIA, the big graphics card producer, is one of the big brands that has already hired you.
Basically, Tadej has worked with. We have an official partnership with them.
Yeah.
And it's you can see this series basically. Tadej created 5 series for them, where he teaches basically other people how to do 3D stuff.
Got it. Got it. And then, I mean, you said branded virtual mascots. This is kind of the first. This is similar to what you showed me at the beginning. It's like, okay, so everything I'm seeing, all the content I'm seeing on there is built around virtual characters, and now we have actual PR and press being done around people that don't exist.
Yeah.
But they do exist in the minds of the audience. They do exist.
Yeah.
So can you just sort of let us know who's who, and then
right at the left, that's Lil Michaela. This is the first character I ever heard of, and the company behind it is Brud, and I think both me and Tadej really like what they do.
She's the biggest, right?
She's the biggest?
No, not really. By following, not. Maybe the photorealistic one. She's the biggest. But by following, like Nobody Sausage and stuff like that. It's quite
Yeah.
but it's
you
quite
have
different.
you have different segmentations then of what constitutes what type of character that we can.
Most of these characters are working basically with luxury brands because they're photorealistic and they can represent the perfect image for a brand. Let's take example of Dior or Louis Vuitton. You know, you literally don't have to have a struggle with the creator because they don't look the way they want. They have a bad day, whatever. This is the perfect character that they can just put digital clothing on.
So this segmentation would be hyper realistic.
Yeah. Hyper-realistic. This is one of the most expensive one, right? This costs a lot of money. And for example, like Lil Michaela, they got a lot of funding for the Brud, and I think it's a huge thing behind her. But yeah, this is an expensive project.
But what makes her interesting for brands, for example? I know because we work a lot with influencers, and I know how many times we're struggling with them. They don't respond to emails. They have a bad day, like you said. They
get sick.
Negotiate with the price and stuff like that. So with virtual influencers, you don't have problems like that.
Exactly.
Basically, you agree on the price, and that's it.
And you have all control of the content.
Exactly.
And long term, it's way cheaper at scale because you grow the following. It's your character. You have the IP. You can launch products with her, right? Because if she has 3 million followers, of course you can launch products with her. We're gonna touch on her, but I think she made around $11 million in 2022 alone, which is just from brand deals. This one is Heineken. This was one of the most successful campaigns for Heineken, and they created basically a character for all the campaigns. I don't want to be too sure for the number, but I remember they had more than 1 billion impressions on this whole campaign. It was a wild success for Heineken. I think it was the best campaign ever created for Heineken.
You can also see it in the bottom. No?
Yeah, the new virtual beer.
Yeah.
They try it new in Decentraland, right? Yeah. So they also made it then like
in the metaverse.
Yeah. So a character that lives on social media can then also be on the metaverse.
Transferable. And
you can have a product lived in the digital world, but then have a copy of the product in real life as well. And I know that with I mean it's going slower than I thought, but VR with Apple entering the market and so forth, I think it's a matter of time before maybe not Gen Z, but maybe the next generation will grow up with VR and grow up with being able to be in the real world and and I mean the real world and the let's call it the sandbox world, and virtual influencer will be able to be in both worlds at the same time.
Yeah, and imagine 10 years ahead, you're a brand, you're Heineken, you have a character. It's way easier to advertise if you have a character inside a metaverse than just have an advertisement, right? Because she's talking to you. This is way ahead of time. But even if you look, like I have Oculus, these are VR headphones. Headset. And whenever I played a game, these were like kids 8 years plus. It was just kids. So I think the next generation,
when they will be
exactly.
And I love this example.
KFC. We all know KFC, right? Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they created a virtual character, which is the brand mascot.
Which is the Colonel.
Always has been, yeah.
But he's a bit cooler,
Yeah.
younger, he has tattoos. So it's like it's like
Gen Z virtual character. Yeah. I think it works super well. And this is way cheaper than just having dress up this guy and having him at all these different photo shoots. You just need to create it, and then you need someone to put him in the pictures.
So go ahead.
Sorry.
In the right picture, it's a photorealistic render of a character that is actually built in 3D.
Yeah.
And on the left, it's just sort of he's popped into the social media post.
Yeah, exactly. This is the same principle as Lou Michaela. That's the same kind of style.
So this is all done manually without any artificial intelligence. And you also do it all manually.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, we can talk about the process a bit later. Depends on how deep you want to go into it. But yeah, we do like a combination, both.
Okay, because I'm interested. I played around with Midjourney in the past few days, and I actually created a virtual persona character, static, not a video, but just static image. And I opened her profile. It's a female, and can I actually get her to live, not to live, but to from image to video?
Yeah, you have options in AI from image to video, and they are getting better and better. The biggest issue when you were doing with image to video was the character would jump in features.
But for example, I think I know what you're saying. For example, if I'm a brand and I say, I got this picture or I generated this picture with AI, it went to it went through the whole corporate adoption process. I have 50 shots of him, and management says that they want this guy to be the mascot for let's say for social media. If I give you 50 photos, can you actually go through the process and build? If I give you that as a brief, can you build him in 3D?
Yeah, you can definitely build them. You use all manners of work. Like if, for example, for a photorealistic one, you would need about 10 pictures, 15.
Okay.
2 would minimum, but you could also make it with 2 because you take the information of the face, and that is what actually helps you sculpt the face.
Sculpt the face.
So you would have traditional sculptors. These are people who are highly trained, and it's always better to have those people. But on the other side, you have ways to create these characters way faster. It's not going to be extremely detailed because there are limitations to software, both software and hardware. But you can have it done in, without interjections and corrections. You have the character done in less than a week, a realistic one. So you can use pictures, adopt them into the program, and once you have the base,
just build around
free game. Because then people would be, I can predict people saying, but then why do I even need 3D? Why do I even need these things? I can just take the pictures, put them into Midjourney, text to video, and that's it.
Yeah, but
it doesn't work that way because there are things that need to be done in order to provide a specific, let's say, quality standard. And Midjourney, these things, like I tried, Evoke AI and all of this stuff. We messed around with it a lot. and it's good. It's extremely good for
Very specific.
Yeah, for conceptualization.
Yeah.
Friggin' great. Anime creation as well, but hyper-realistic video, to the way that we see video production and stuff, we are still a bit far away.
Yeah.
A bit. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen.
I mean, look, I know. I mean, I come primarily from the vertical video TikTok scene. If you want the virtual character to do something that is similar that a real influencer could do, like I don't want to give the basic examples, like, but for the sake of argument, like do a TikTok dance, participate in a challenge, do a skit, act something out. You need to be able to have your team that's doing the character either just complete the movement, or if you are, I mean, I can't imagine the 3D sphere is the last sphere that I would penetrate. I think or do you, how do you see it? I mean, or I'll start a bit differently. I think text, we've seen what's happening. Text to photo, 2D photo, we've already seen what's happening. And then if you go to the 3D video, you have a 3D space which has which is in 3 dimensions, and then you have a time space which you have 30 frames per second. So the amount of information needed to be able to do text to 3D video, I think that's the last thing that will actually be on this kind of level. But
actually, you have text to 3D stuff already out.
Yeah.
You have things that basically create a 3D object, although barely serviceable. They do. You have no Spline is it's different. It's more of a platform where you create stuff. It's like Kaedim. It's an app that basically you take a photo, and based on the photo it recreates the 3D object, because it tries to take the
got it.
depth information of the thing. But this is, again, this can help. It's, if you're thinking in terms of this is going to throw me out with the bathwater, then you can close shop, because if you can use this stuff correctly, then you basically create an overcharged, feedback loop for your own business. Let's say an example would be, like you said, TikTok dances and stuff like that. So one thing that it's always an issue is you have a viral trend, and you have this pyramid effect where people do the same thing. They do the same thing, which means you have a large amount of data that you can draw from. You draw the information that you need, and then you can basically hyper-produce content with AI. You have AI that helps predict movement, so you can animate way faster, which previously animation is one of the biggest time consumers. Because if you want to make it good, and with the influencers and stuff that we have here, one way that you can implement this is you take what is viral, what is highly repeatable, and you extract the data that you need for the AI to help you animate. So essentially what you have is a feedback loop that is just growing. And you basically took 20 to 30% of your overhead, you took it out. You do not need now 3 or 4 animators on your team, all of these people. So it's about thinking how to optimize costs when optimization of costs is needed.
Yeah.
Because you have this side, and then you have the other side, which is custom interactions, custom stuff. Let's say Colonel Sanders wants to cook a chicken, and it has to be super. Then it needs to be a whole production. But if you want to have Colonel Sanders, dancing to Cupid, you have how many? Cupid, it's like one of the viral songs right now that it's going on. It has, I don't know, 300 million plays, about 3 million videos. 3 million videos of data.
That's huge.
So implementing this stuff with characters and VTubers.
I get it. I mean, the interesting thing is that what you're saying is the same thing that so Aljaž and I are talking about and trying to implement into our businesses. Is sort of there's processes that we already do that with AI you can do them faster, and usually it's stuff that we don't like doing anyway.
Exactly.
Faster, cheaper, and you actually move out all the text that people don't want to do out of the process,
but then
they can focus on the
exactly
real thing.
What you're left with is like no, AI is not going to replace a master storyteller, a master animator, a master content creator.
Exactly.
But it will free up the time for him to be able to do more work or better work or both.
Exactly.
Because that's where, like you said, master content creator. Because people think like, oh, you can just AI the content.
I mean, you can, it's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You wanna watch an AI generated thing. I'm saying this for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But when we were talking, we were like, but what's gonna happen to the kid that doesn't understand the difference in speech structure between AI and a human being? So those people are gonna find it appealing. But for now, in the span of 5 years, you're not gonna. If a content creator is genuinely fun, like some of the examples that we're gonna show later on, it can help supercharge them, but it's not gonna take
human check is always needed, right?
Yeah, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. You gotta have that.
Yeah, the humanity,
Yeah,
the emotions, the understanding of. I mean, there's and I mean, it was inevitable that we're gonna find AI along this conversation, but just to finish off, I saw a brilliant. I mean, it was a meme. It was a guy at the table in the park. Kind of protesting, and then he had a sign, and it said, "AI won't take your job. Someone using it will."
Yeah.
Which I feel is like, you now have this super assistant which you can fine-tune to your needs. You can put it into your platform, and like the big hype. I mean, the people that are making the biggest hype and are already rolling out, this is a solution and this is a solution. I guess 95 or 99% of these solutions will get integrated into the big systems. Like Google Drive will have most of the stuff that people are developing now. Notion already has it. Yeah. But people, or at least creators, or people that do create, or people that do creative work, that will try to integrate it deeply into the teams, into the processes, into the flows, you will be able to output much better work, or I think or faster work, or looking at another ways. I mean, I think that's the fastest way to a 4-day work week. But then if you work for 4 days and you have 3 days off, if you're a creator, you know how important it is just to do nothing and come up with stuff. Because if you have to, budgeting and tables and stuff, and programming, there's no room for creativity to happen. So I mean, it's nice to hear how AI is penetrating your field as well. Should we go on?
Yeah.
More examples.
Yeah. Maybe before we go, one more thing about
go
AI.
for it. Yeah.
Kwebbelkop. The stuff. Also, this is the biggest thing that we want to go into AI. We're working with a developer in the United States.
Yeah.
His name is Fu, and basically we're trying to create a fully automated VTubers. Meaning, Erica, for example, let's say we work with her for 6 months.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of data of her personality and voice. We can basically train the AI with ChatGPT that when somebody types, so we would connect Twitch API with ChatGPT. When somebody types something in the Twitch, she would respond to it.
Yeah.
And another thing is, let's say we have a gaming channel. We would, let's say, Grand Theft Auto or FIFA. You would feed him the gameplay, and the character would automatically react to the playing of the game.
That's
nice. This is one of the stuff. And imagine you have 100 of these creators on YouTube, and they're all creating content instead of you. Could be insane, but still we're early today.
Yeah.
I'll buy one.
I mean, you gotta then also understand the drawbacks, because a lot of the audience of this creator actually is now memeing on the creator.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, finally I see my AI overlord enjoying.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not necessarily super good, but it does have a great, it's a great selling point, because you can be like, listen, you're streaming, you don't feel like doing it for 2 hours, connect your character, have the Twitch chat, talk and they're gonna respond how you would respond, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, also those options are
And
it's complicated to connect all the pieces.
and then I guess sooner or later we're just gonna take. I know DeepMind plays StarCraft, so sooner or later you're gonna have a virtual character with a virtual AI playing the game and streaming itself, and it can do that for 24 hours all the time on 10 platforms on 10 games simultaneously. M&Ms. Why M&Ms?
Then go to M&Ms.
Yeah, so I don't know. As a kid, I always saw their TV advertisements, and I thought it was cool because they also have their own TikToks and stuff like that. So just cool to see. You know, this is one of the easiest examples to explain to brands and people at home. Yeah, you've seen it on TV. This is literally a virtual character.
It doesn't need to be hyper realistic to be a character and play a role.
It's a stylized character. It has a story, and when we would talk about M&Ms, you would probably remember the characters and not the logo, right?
Yeah.
You would go into M&Ms, but like you remember the characters from the TV shows or
But
the
if
campaigns.
this is like virtual influencer, for example, is talking Tom too from Outfit 7.
Yeah, he was one of the
First stages, so
They actually engage as well.
Yeah.
They could use him a bit better, but
Yeah.
But talking Tom, it's you imagine if you could put him on TikTok as well. You know, you could grow tremendously.
Yeah.
Especially when they were just starting out, but they're doing fine.
Yeah, they're doing fine, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Talking Tom was an example of a huge team being behind one character. Now we're talking about the revolution is that it's accessible.
Yeah.
Like similar
And
to
scalable.
and scalable. I mean, AI and ChatGPT type tools were available to developers long before. I know the DeepMind. I mean, I know StarCraft, which is like a very strategic game. It's like chess, but with in real time. 2 years ago, you had to constrain it for it not to beat the best players. You had to really constrain it and try to make it more human. And now with ChatGPT coming out, the revolution was it's accessible. And I think like why virtual characters are the bringing a revolution, it's not because they're new, but now it's the computing power, the tools, everything is getting ready where everybody, if they want, can have a virtual self. And with people doing that from themselves, they're going to expect the same from brands. They're going to expect that brands collaborate with the famous virtual influencers that will come out. And I think it's the accessibility is what is driving the revolution. I mean, it's very similar to TikTok. You know why TikTok made a splash? I always talk about this at conferences. Is it made music available to everybody, so you could use the IP. And then number two, it leveraged the power of the smartphone where everybody could shoot themselves and edit themselves and create loads of content. And that's why it grew so fast, because the vertical video revolution started with TikTok making it, I have it on my phone. And I guess it's a matter of time where, I'll take my phone, I'll open an app, I'll create myself a virtual character, and it won't be only, I won't be able to like just FaceTime call it, but I'll tweak it, I'll put on shoes, I'll buy shoes, and then I'll just import it into TikTok or wherever, and I'll shoot content with it. And I think accessibility is what will drive the revolution, and people will want it from brands, from agencies, because it will be, you'll be unable to look away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If you just look at like the stuff, Snapchat filters and Spark filters, kids are already using it, and big time. I mean, not just kids, but Gen Z and millennials. And you can see it's becoming accessible. It's a very minimal way of virtual influencer, right? It's not something like this, but you can already see that it's coming.
Yeah, but I think like the biggest like distinction that I see between, let's say, Tony the Tiger, a VTuber, a virtual influencer, and what we can all do on our phones is, and why I'm happy that you showed this example. Like Tony the Tiger, he has this. We know who he is, and we know who he isn't, and that's something that that is not yet in the mainstream culture. So, for example, today I'll be one character, tomorrow I'll be another character, 3 days from now I'll be a monkey, and where I think you guys are showing us that things are going is that me, Domen, will become someone else and will actually start posting and creating content with my alter ego on all channels.
And you also don't, you have a bad day, you don't look so good.
Yeah.
You have a filter
Yeah.
over you or a character. So I think this is another way why it's gonna become so more accessible. There's a lot of people who are overweight, who are people who just don't like how they look like on camera. And this is a huge market for all those people who want to enter the influencer space.
Yeah, so I guess it's if Instagram was the make myself perfect kind of move, and TikTok was the we have to be authentic move. This kind of goes into the next step where you can be authentic and do whatever you want, but without actually showing your vulnerability, which is an interesting.
You can release your alter ego.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you like turtles, you can be a turtle. Right?
So Kellogg's the Tiger, I know that this is very recent. He was a guest at the Colbert Report, right?
Yeah.
I mean the
TV show,
the new show with Colbert.
It's just super cool to see brands, because you usually see the brands. This is just on the packaging. This is the only way you see the character. But imagine you're a teenager, you're a kid. You scroll on TikTok, you scroll on YouTube. There's always this tiger. Like what? When you come into the, let's say, Mercator or Spar, the first thing you're gonna do, hey mom, I saw him on TikTok. Can I buy
the tiger?
The tiger.
Yeah.
You have 10 brands, and you would rather buy the tiger instead of all the other brands, because his favorite character is promoting it.
Yeah, and you can monetize it in other ways, like I don't know.
Merchandise
and toys and
exactly.
Yeah.
There's many ways to monetize.
But what we're saying is you don't have to be Kellogg's to create something like this for yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
And he's also a Twitch streamer, which is super cool.
Yeah. Aljaž, do you know this guy?
I've seen him on TikTok. I think I'm following him.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Geico from
Geico.
Yeah.
The insurance company.
I've been around for 20 years.
The first thing that I think when I see him is like the Super Bowl ads, and he's been doing silly and stupid stuff from the beginning. So his brand story is very, very clear, and I love that they're a brand that really took the character and moved it to social soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
So Geico, the Gecko Lizard, but so.
This is more of luxury brand.
We're leaving the old school characters and going towards what's happening now. So tell us, who do we see and what brand collabs are they doing?
These are essentially both the Prada and these are both Prada campaigns. This is both Lil Miquela.
Mm-hmm.
She did a collaboration with them. And it just makes perfect sense for brands to do a collab for luxury brands, specifically with photorealistic ones.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, Calvin Klein, Louis Vuitton, and Prada. It's it's just way easier to do photoshops. You don't have to go into physical locations. You can do all virtual.
To implement the product itself into the.
For example, we have a character. Tadej gets the perfume model in 3D. He has the render ready in 2 days.
You don't need to shoot.
Or faster
even less. Or actually, you can then pump out actually more content.
Mm-hmm.
So,
whereas here you needed to take the perfect picture if you wanted to get the shot.
Yeah, and guys, just so you know, the presentation we'll be sending it to you after the event, so you can deep dive into the specific part that you in. So deeper connection between consumers and brands.
Yeah. Because this
how is I mean that's a statement that you already told me. So convince me. Why and how can a consumer create a deeper connection with a brand if the connection is through a virtual person instead of a real person?
Yeah.
So convince me.
Yeah, the way we're talking about the Kellogg's, the tiger, right? As a consumer, instead of just seeing a paid promotion on social media by an ex-influencer who doesn't really care about the brand and he's just promoting it, you have a constant image of the brand, but not just the logo part, but you have the constant image of a character that, if used properly, let's say on the live streams, can really connect with the audience. Let's say a kid is a super fan of the character. He can go and ask him on Q&A. The character creates a Q&A on TikTok. The character can go ahead and ask him any questions he has, where he's from, what he likes, and he can also give him some discounts for, in the store and stuff like that. It just makes a better connection for...
So if I'm hearing you correct, is like the deeper connection is also due to the fact because the character could be built for the audience. Instead of, this is my target audience, can you find me the best influencer if he happens to exist? It's here's like, no, this is my audience, build me the perfect person.
Exactly.
Is it the person? Is it, a talking, is it my talking, or is it a totally 3D generated stuff?
But you can see it with, we're mentioning like Ryanair earlier.
Yeah, Talking Plane.
So Talking Plane, it's a perfect example because another segmentation would be you create a character that the company approves, and people, if they like the character, they will then also approve of the company that it's backing them up. They're going to be like, I like the character, and I find the company cool because it's supporting the character.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't want to sell directly. You're not selling the thing directly.
And
it's also this a very...
And that's exactly what we've been preaching for 3 years when it comes to TikTok. It's sort of create content that connects with the people, gets your brand story, your brand message across. I mean, find a way to integrate the product, but it's not product first. It's story first. It's connection first, and this just allows it to do in such a much more organic way.
Yeah, definitely.
And then with the influence on consumer decisions, it comes from what we were discussing right now.
Yeah.
You have people that already saw you a bunch of times. They vibe with what you're doing, and because you're using specific methods to basically create enormous amounts of content, you're also constantly there. So it's way easier to...
And especially, and especially the way I see it, I know the US market and the UK market are more advanced, but for example, the first few big virtual characters that will be popping up in the Adriatic region, you won't be able to miss them. They will stand out. They will stand out.
Yeah, because nobody's doing it yet.
No, but exactly. I also, when I was talking to Aljaž, I see a lot of opportunities for brands that already have characters built here. For example, Lino the bear from Chocolino. It's like a perfect example of bring him, make him
dance on TikTok, make him connect with the audience. And
Ted Wager
character
a while ago.
And then I know like an example that popped to mind is Oraketa, which has the little Orarais with
but they are doing it really well.
Yeah,
they are the ones that really got it.
But they're just using it on campaigns, I think.
I've been with. I've talked to them some time ago. They're using it in campaigns. They really want to keep the characters in a specific way. But I think. From the point of view of social media and daily content and live streams, that's where they have a perfect setup, but they're not leveraging the entire space.
Also
maybe
because
they will after this live stream.
Hopefully.
Because also there's a bit of a technical issue there. Hair. The characters are hairy, and hair is an absolute nightmare to not just animate, but put it so it reacts in real time.
That makes sense. There's a lot of data points in.
So it's
technique. You see the part that us two don't. Yeah.
No, because that's also because I used to do a lot of hair.
Yeah.
And hair is it's difficult to do, and if you need to do it live. That's.
Yeah, you need a big PC.
But
a big computing power.
That's how Except for the hair, that's how you can influence them.
How are we with time? I don't have what is the time? We are
half an hour.
Half an hour, perfect. Yeah, we're 35 more minutes left. Okay, and we've talked about like winning more attention and more social media. Of course, if you're virtually stand out. So this is little Michaela. This is how her Instagram looks like if you go on.
She almost has 3 million followers, 3.6 on TikTok. Maybe key stuff to point out: she made $11 million with brand deals in 2022 alone. She's official spokesperson for Peklaj, which is a clothing brand,
Mhm.
I think in the United States. She launched her own metaverse, and she has over 80 million Spotify streams, which means she was able to get 80 million people on another platform. Which shows the power of her.
So
content.
ways of monetizing the virtual influencers are
Limitless, yeah.
limitless.
You can go merchandise. Spotify pays super well. They made a bunch of money with Spotify.
Even new books or
Books, Snapchat shows, digital products,
Whatever.
whatever you have. It just has to be correlated to that audience.
And do we have? Or we'll look at the next one. We have you probably a link here. So
Yeah.
who's he?
So,
So maybe Lil Michaela was built, and she's an influencer. She has brand deals, but she's a personality first.
yeah, exactly.
What about this guy?
This
What's
is-
special about him?
this
Why
is-
is he different?
This is literally a virtual brand mascot. So character created specifically for a brand. His name is Kasazbahia, and the company name is also Kasazbahia.
Mhm.
And he represents a company that's super close to Big Bang or Mimo Vrste.
Yeah.
They sell like PlayStations, kitchen items, TVs, stuff like that. And he was able to grow his following to 3.5 million followers on Instagram. And of course, it's not just because of the character, but they tripled their sales since they launched the character.
So that's what you're showing in the graphic.
Exactly.
Oh, that's stupid.
Of course, it's the COVID and everything, but he was a big part of it.
But-
'cause they were
So
able
if
to
you
grow
look
him.
at if you look at him on TikTok,
Yeah.
I guess if I mute the computer, do you get the sound through?
Yes.
I guess not. I'll put it on the headphones, just so they hear
I think
they
we
get
need
the
to switch
sound.
because there's a compromise in TikTok on the left. So
There's a what?
Good. No, okay, it's fine. It went.
So this is his TikTok profile. It's also at 1.8 million followers, and the content it's kind of, I see that it's a kind of a mix. So some of the content he's fully animated, some of the content he's sort of interacting with people. This is the example we looked at. No, this is another one. Let me just put this like this. Okay, now you should be here. You should be able to hear it on the stream. Okay. Broke? Didn't break.
But not
refreshing.
Yeah.
not to divagate too much. You will notice that with him especially,
Yeah.
there was two main content variations. It's either
Yeah.
content that was completely and custom animated,
Yeah?
which takes a whole bunch of time to create. And then you would have content where it's just a picture of him, and then he would be like overlaid over it, stuff like that. Just
Yeah, so
like,
for example,
yeah.
So this, for example, would be,
Just a picture.
yeah, which is yeah.
Very easy content to create, yeah.
Yeah, and then this one is animated, yeah.
This is more of a salesy one. So hard sell, they're trying to sell some products.
Yeah. And then we can hear his voice, and he's not even there, but the voice, who's,
Because it started to kind of associate him.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, combining him with real life,
So just so it's easier for people to kind of get the point.
sure.
So, for example, I'm a brand that wants to launch its own virtual character or influencer. What's the actual process and how much it's gonna cost me to create a persona and then to, let's say, I want 12 posts per month on each social media?
So it depends. It depends. Either you want to go photorealistic, you just want a partnership post, or you want a VTuber.
Let's say we
a
want
motion capture, or let's say something like Kasazba here.
Okay.
So the process is, the first step we always really want to nail down is the DNA and the lore of the character, just so like the personality is on point. It resonates with the brand, the core values of the brand, what he likes, what he dislikes, and then from there it's more of a like we have 3 passes where we kind of go through the feedback loop of creating the first iterations of the character, creating first the mood board, and then kind of slowly creating the character and adding accessories such as clothing, because usually, you create first the character, then you have, 5-10 different pieces of clothing, different accessories. You want a hat, you want earrings, whatever your kind of company is.
T-shirt, jacket,
T-shirt.
Okay.
And then we start putting out the content. So it's 2 ways we go about it. You can go live motion capture, which would be something we talked about, which would be
similar to what we did at the beginning of the.
Yeah. So that you're talking, and I'd say this is a way better thing to do because you're putting out way more content. If you have someone in-house team, if you're a brand and you have someone in-house, you can create, let's say, just 8 hours a day of content, and just an editor will clip up that content and you have a bunch of content. Whereas if we manually create everything, first it's going to cost more and it's way less efficient. It looks great, but it's way less efficient, and you're probably going to grow way slower because they're doing it on manual. And you can see the engagement. It's not the best. They've been able to grow it, but the engagement is not the best. Because if you have someone who's live talking, it's easier for him to kind of connect with the audience as well.
And also, it's very curated. It's an amazingly well done character, but this is not. It's immediately there's something off.
It's a bit old school.
A bit old school. But the animations and stuff. This is like high grade. Really, really high grade stuff, and it's admirable from that point of view. And as a TV type of ad, it's
great.
Wow, chef's kiss. But it has nothing to search for on socials. Because a realistic character like that, and we're saying this with complete facial controls and stuff like that, it starts at like, I don't know. In our case, they start at 15,000. Because to build monthly content, then it's a completely different thing, because you need to understand what you need. That's the only drawback of this stuff. Even with implementation of several techniques, it still takes. The time is the biggest thing. And they've, like Tim said, they make him by hand. This is a person that is moving the hand for every second and animating and doing that. So it actually, we started to not discourage, but we started to kind of tell people, rather go for something a bit more guerrilla than a photorealistic one.
But it's very similar to. I can see analogies in like stop shooting perfect stuff. If you're looking for not even for it's not about TikTok. It's about vertical. It's about reels. It's about shorts. It's about the revolution that's happening. It's have it be authentic. It doesn't have to be picture perfect. It doesn't have to be. It just has to be genuine and interesting.
There was a person on TikTok, like I saw it a couple of days ago, that was saying that there is a vibe shift happening.
The new age of social media. It's not all about perfection. It's about, like I said, connecting with the values, with the vibe, with the lifestyle.
It's social, at least in mine. It's like social is becoming more as real life with friends, and less like going out on a Friday. Because you can go out on a Friday at 9, from 9 to 3 a.m. and that's like 6 hours. You can really do your best to be perfect, and that's fine. There's a place to be perfect and to be cool and to be. But the rest of the hours of the week, you just want to be
yourself.
And the new generations, they're growing up with social, and social is with them all the time. You can't be perfect. It's the strive towards perfection is what's causing a lot of problems. And I like the way I like the vibe change that's happening.
It's great,
and it's great to see that even in things that aren't real, it's better to be,
definitely
go out, do the rollout faster, test out, see what works, and just have the characters be as best as they can be, but still you can react to what's happening today.
It's exactly like you said. You are outputting things way faster because I hope that also the people don't understand that the point is just like, okay, you do it fast, you do it sloppy, and that's it. No, like exactly like you said, we do things fast so we can test things, and those iterations then get passed to other people that come in and applied to everyone else that is in the roster. So you are improving by doing things, a bit less perfect. Maybe that, I don't know, piece of clothing is not going to be ironed out. Maybe that thing is going to hang a bit. Maybe the story, the caption, the caption is not going to be perfect.
The beautiful thing is that it used to cost you to do that. I mean, the audience would say, I mean, we only want perfection, but now you don't get penalized. You sometimes even get rewarded, but the process is, I mean, I always, when I talk about this, I always mention Elon Musk and SpaceX. I mean, for them, the costs are huge. Like a rocket having to explode, and even the one that's just going up now will probably explode, or at least a part of it will. But that is still cheaper than trying to figure it out in theory. And here it's like,
good point.
Make it, do a rollout, test it, and then see what the market does, and react to the market instead of react to what you think the market wants.
Exactly, you get lots of feedback. You can use
adjust.
You get fast feedback.
Fast feedback. Okay, the next one.
I love Project Penguins.
Yeah,
I think they're great. We actually had with the co-founder of Luca Nets. He has a shop in LA. We had a collaboration with our NFT brand. But I really like his brand. Basically, what they're doing is they started as an NFT project.
Okay.
And they launched this is an amazing video. You gotta put it on full screen.
Okay, sure. So let's tell us a bit about more, and then we'll watch the video. I'll turn
so basically, Project Penguins started as a Web3 project.
Yeah.
They sold out, and then the Luca Nets and Chief, I don't know what's his name. Basically, they bought out the project, and they started going, instead of Web3, they started going to Web2 again, and they started seeing massive growth again. But why? Because of the content of the characters. Basically, the character has an IP, and they started using it on social media, and they've been growing insanely fast for the last 6 months. You can click on the whole account and show them.
And we'll go back to
the character is basically on all posts, as you can see. So it creates an amazing storytelling. It creates a great brand image, and it's super easy to recreate this content, because if you go back to the video, you take a proven concept that is already working. This is something that we all have experienced, and you just put it into animation. And it's just stuff that has already gone viral. You just create a virtual one. And it's
but I mean, it's the same thing that TikTok creator would do.
But it's
like a basic concept.
You know what this reminds me of? Little Penguin.
This would be perfect for them to create. And this would go viral. They would be selling out their stuff. Maybe just show the one I sent. This one.
This one?
This one has 27 million views.
I can hear it in the.
Okay. It's all brandable and
is easily relatable.
Exactly. It's easy to recreate, right?
Yeah.
It's super easy to get close to the audience. Now she gets mad. That's the whole video, but that's it. It goes viral, right?
Yeah.
It's relatable, and the process is you send me the video. Yo, could you recreate this? I have a Charlie D'Amelio dance or Kardashian dance. We go ahead and recreate.
So, for example, if I would hire, or we would find a brand that you would like want a character like this, I could have my content creators say, these are the scripts that we want. Like, this is what's trending now, and if you have verticality, you could find ways to, because this, I guess, is much easier to animate than like a photorealistic one. So kind of I guess the budget constraints and what you actually want to produce influences how you choose what kind of character you're going to be building, right?
And it depends on the brand as well.
Depends on the brand, and depends on the amount of risk the people want to take.
So what kind of characters would you say are the most risky?
The riskiest is basically the realistic ones. Because you gotta understand, you're gonna put in a lot of money, because it's a long process. It's a really long process. but you're going to put a lot of money into it, a lot of production, and it's not a 100% guarantee that it's going to fly off.
Mhm.
So you're like, okay, well, what do we do? So usually we save the option for realistic characters when we know that there has been ample investment into something. We know that we say, listen, it costs 15,000 for the character, and then the stuff that you need for the
Like a
content,
monthly fee,
whatever. But you then have to also understand what are the hard metrics behind that.
Yeah.
Because if you have started with something like this, or let's say you started with a simpler 3D thing, you can in time upgrade whenever you hit the stuff. That's something that we say to people, because people will come out, and they're like, oh yeah, I wanna have a hyper realistic one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Start with Homer and then make Homer real.
Yeah,
Exactly.
This is an amazing process, and even with the images, right?
Yeah.
It costs a lot less for us to just create the image and then create creatives like this to kind of tell
I
a
mean, I
story.
can from the content production point of view, I'm really liking the talk we have today, because I can see like the way you could think about integrating a character, and then by knowing what kind of content you want to produce, if I have a client in mind, I can then think of what kind of character I could suggest, or it's good just to see kind of the full
the interactions.
Yeah. So who's next? Little Princess Member. Let's
click on one video.
Let's open her up.
Just for an example of content.
So we just.
What's up with the hair?
Yeah, she's a devil.
It's like fire.
Yeah. She gets what, 1.6 million. And it's way easier to go viral also in outside of just Slovenia if you're posting, because for example Bruce, it went viral in the United States, our character. It's way easier to go viral outside of Slovenia.
Is this a brand behind the character or a studio?
It's a management company.
Or
Okay.
studio, yeah.
So Domen, we should set up a management company for Riksha Cersei.
This is kind of what we're doing.
So, for example, Nepo Baby of the Underworld. Would you say they animate her like the one you were looking earlier, or do they face track, or how do you think they create?
It's a combination. It's a combination. Because also you have to understand also with body tracking. As you see it, in movies when you have the suits with the balls, you get pretty good like data from that. Basically, you take the data and you put it on a skeleton, and that starts to move. So you can have her, you can have like a fat dude, a tiger on fours or whatever. You can transmit the data. The problem is, even with body motion, you still need to go and manually clean up
the data.
Sometimes you have a weird jerking motion. You need to clean up and bring it back. You need to take into account what's happening. So still takes way less time to animate for more complex stuff, but takes time.
Yeah.
This, for example, what they do here is a combination of both. They are going to take the animation from a character. You can take a video, feed it through an algo, and it basically pops out animation data, which you can then put on the character. So they're going to do that and pop it on the character and then clean up the stuff. So that's one way that you can make faster content.
So, for example, one way to make content would be like the simple way would be like you did in the beginning. So you can either shoot and then translate in the computer, or just shoot in real time. Then like level 2 would be if I want a specific movement. For example, I want the character to flip. I get a guy, he does a flip. You clean up the data and then you put in that.
In that case, we have the guy that does the flip, or maybe there's already some data that does the flip itself. So that's where we take it. So that's how we do it. Unless it's walking here through this room in a very specific manner, That's the thing that we would need to take.
But still, like from a content creation point of view, what I'm seeing with most of the examples we're looking at is that there's always a mix of, when is it worth to go into the more expensive, difficult part, and what content can I do from 2D renders, and what content can I do just using the voice. But what I see is that oftentimes there are like text messages, real world like stitches, duets, pictures, movies. That's all used. Is that also part of the culture of what people accept for virtual influencers?
Yes and no.
Yes and no?
Because that's why we were really, because with the character that I showed you in the beginning, for example, we have the capacity to move the hands and move the body. We do have it. It's just a bit more complicated to set it up. But because of the people that we work with, so for example, Twitch streamers and people like that, you need to have, you need to understand that the person on the other side does not understand maybe some technical parts of it. So you need to make the process as easy as possible for them. I would say, having said that, I would say that if you have a character like this, you have cursed yourself to only allow a video like the dancing one or animated videos every once in a while, because either you're not going to have the budget, or either you're not going to have people that are going to do that. So you have picture or you have text, which is lazy.
And we're back at character choice, right?
Exactly. So then we get into the stuff like our characters that we were doing for streamers, because if you have that, if you have face motion and body motion, and you can communicate through that, then you've basically bridged
the gap.
This is an example of
These are the brutes are yours, right?
Yeah, it's a fun project. Yeah.
This is like
tell us a bit more about the brutes. Who are they?
These were meant to be little Play-Doh monsters. So one idea you could have had there. You can you can create a Play-Doh set to create your own brute. A Play-Doh set costs next to nothing. You make cute instructions, and basically you can build your own character like this. We basically just we said, okay, let's try it out. Let's take popular popular memes, stuff like that, and then and I asked some of my interns. I asked, okay, there's a fun project. You can learn some animation skills there and try
this one went completely viral.
Where is this since we're on TikTok, this was posted from Slovenia?
And it went viral in Brazil, I think so.
So you post the first video from Slovenia organically?
No SIM cards, nothing. Slovenia, my phone. I have
2.4
million views.
So for example, right now, where is the reach? Is it
so basically we completely stopped working on the characters because actually this was more of a proof of concept. We said, there you go, you have characters, we know how to breach in, and we know how to get you have one video with 2.1, 2.4, you put a bio, you put a link,
it works.
So and you have live TikTok Live, which for Europe is actually super good because you can stream from your desktop on TikTok, and you can use characters to stream instead of you. So,
and also we went into VTubers because there's way easier to monetize this.
Got it.
But if we had a brand, because one idea in this kind of concept we had with lo-fi music, because we could create lo-fi music and promote the Spotify like Little Michaela did, and you can make a lot of money with Spotify. But we just went into VTubers, and it's playing a lot more there.
To have 10 minutes or something.
Sure.
I don't know how far we are on the
Let's go over
presentation.
with the VTubers. It's not that much, but
Okay, sure. So perfect.
VTubers.
Last question. For example, if you were to continue the brute and a brand would want to get involved, you could put a logo or create a whole script around the brand and just post one branded post and then continue with your own, right? Just regular influence.
Exactly.
What brands are used to from regular influencer labs.
Let's say a bold group would create their own. Let's say this was yours. You could go ahead and promote a spot on your TikTok.
Yeah.
No problem.
And what you can also do, we could take and go to DIY TikTokers, DIY YouTubers, and be like, we got this channel, it's doing well, you want to take control of it?
Yeah.
Sell it. We
So
sell the
in
IP.
theory, an agency could say, okay, agency channels are usually not that interesting because agencies talking about themselves, and you lack time and so forth. So instead of Bold Group or GD Studios, we could make,
We have a character. Let's say it's our mascot. It's
Yeah.
David. That's
Yeah.
We could make him and,
and then he
social media and share, let's say, tips and tricks on
just
social media.
Create
and stuff
YouTube
like
videos,
that.
right? Like 10-minute YouTube videos where he shares all the secrets
Yeah.
to how to
And
succeed
if it works,
online.
it could even become a secondary revenue stream
Exactly.
where you could, you have the client, you just give the clients another outlet.
And with
Plus
one
you can
YouTube video,
acquire
you
more
get
clients.
like 20 short videos
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
TikTok,
Yes.
Snap.
And on YouTube, you put a link, here's a discovery call, book a call with our agency, you get free clicks on your landing page.
Yeah.
You can book more clients.
Okay, so we are now going into VTubers, which is what's a VTuber? We have 10 minutes, so we're going to go super
Yeah.
fast. We can do it 5 minutes longer, but I want to
Yeah.
finish wrap up.
So maybe the main difference is that they're kind of live streamable and anime style VTubers instead of like normal what we just saw.
So what you were talking about is like VTubers are simpler, live streamable. You can do it from your computer,
And
even
more
if you're teaching
anime,
someone in
yeah.
Kuala Lumpur.
They can also be the hyper realistic ones, just the
But most of them are.
Yeah, to the course a bit different.
Okay.
So, for example, this is
Oh.
kind of one of our biggest competitors.
Yeah.
It's VS Hojo, and just to give you an example of where the industry is at, they have raised over 20 million in funding. Their biggest character, Project Melody, is making over $4 million a year, just one character. And they have currently under management over 11 VTubers, which each one of them makes over $300,000 a year.
And they're making the money from streaming or from
From
rent.
streamers, from donations. One has virtual OnlyFans. This is what we're going into as well. And then if you skip the slide,
Sure.
the second one is also Niji Sanji. This is even bigger agency, even bigger competitor, Any Color, and they have over 160 VTubers under management. They have a valuation of $2.5 billion, and in the first quarter of 2022, they made a 40 million profit, which is insane. And they have 300 employees, and they made 40 million profit.
300 employees.
250.
Question. Is there a person behind each of the VTubers?
Yeah.
Or does one person have more VTube?
Usually it's a talent. Maybe I don't know behind the scenes of their company, but usually it's just one character that takes care of his own character, and maybe he has 2-3 people who helps him with the content, and that's it.
Clear. And they can
And launch of the
be
products.
they don't even have to be located.
No,
They can be
they can be anywhere.
work.
They can be anywhere.
Yeah.
Mostly they have 2 divisions. They have Japan and English, because Japan, like this is where it started, from Japan.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, these both companies started in 2020, so this 2 years.
2 years.
2 years, and they're both valued with over $1 billion. So the industry is definitely moving in this direction of virtual humans.
Yeah, this is the stat.
The step, which is insane.
Yeah.
And I think this is to keep in mind and to kind of share. So keep in mind that let's say you have characters under management, every single virtual creator generates predictable and consistent cash flow. I have 5 people under me, and each one makes $10,000, and I make percentage of the revenue. And then this is also sellable IP, which can be sold on later on. So let's say he makes
You build your own Spider-Man.
Yeah, 5 years it makes me consistent cash flow each month, but at the end of 5 years I can sell it for millions of dollars if it's working good. Because if you take the biggest difference in like KSI, Kardashians, Logan Paul, is that this is a sellable IP, and Logan Paul or Mr. Beast cannot sell his brand because he's the person behind the brand. So I think this is the biggest like kind of advantage long term for this.
So for example, if you have a content creator that says, okay, I'm gonna keep creating content on my channel, but I'm also gonna start a VTube, like a VTube collaboration with you guys, and then I'll build it, but then I'm gonna go on holidays, and someone else will take over.
Yeah. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that we would need to have one kind of voice changer.
Yeah, of course.
If it's my own voice, we're not going to be able to duplicate it, but probably with AI soon. But yeah, just one voice changer, and then 10 people can be behind.
So what you said? There's a 4-step process in like from character to monetization.
Yeah.
What's the main points of each step?
So the first is character creation. We give you the perfect character, the way you like it, the DNA of the character, how it's looking, accessories, clothing, body skin. You want to be turtle, you want to be a character, you want to be a Spider-Man, whatever you want to be.
Then you grow it.
Then you grow the channel, you grow the audience, you gather clicks, you gather impressions, you gather awareness, views. Then you try to gamify everything, which is kind of get more engaged with the viewers, go on live streams, just engage better.
Yeah.
One of the crazy things we were talking a few days ago is the 3D space.
Yeah.
Maybe we can touch a bit more on this, but imagine somebody donates $5 and a lamp goes off in his 3D space.
Yeah.
Or
like
an earthquake.
That reminded me of like sleepfluencers.
Yeah,
the guys that sleep and
exactly.
But in the virtual world.
In the virtual.
Yeah.
And it's all connected, so he doesn't need to do anything. $5, this happens. If someone does a biggest donation, $100, an earthquake happens, or a lightning strikes. Or I've seen one example which is super funny. The apple gets thrown at her. So every time someone follows, there's an apple coming at your face. Just try to gamify and then monetize through merchandise.
Through different streams.
Different streams, yeah. This is one of our characters, maybe for example, and then just show the stream, and then that's it.
Okay, so this is an example of digital merch people could buy.
This was just like a profit, product type of presentation. This was just for the promo stuff. Like we just made it, put it on socials just to add a bit of flair. Those are mostly her symbols, her character. We use the same basically template to introduce her when for every single streamer that comes to the roster. And then these are usually for her it's like a cat paw. For somebody else it's gonna be
Kitty.
She
and that's her content.
Yeah.
So this is her. This is actually her
kind of branding, and this is the content.
Yeah.
So
I think this is a hilarious piece of content.
So this just for further understanding and context. She is already a well-established Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
And she wanted
under this name or
under Erica.
Under Erica.
So another.
Yeah.
So she actually worked out a really good way herself, where it was like, I'm gonna be, because I'm a bit bossier and bitchier on my stream, I'm gonna be nicer in this persona, which worked out perfectly. Because when she ends her stream, she just takes all of the people and it's like, okay, now I'm streaming as Kaifu, and she streams as Kaifu. The initial results are like off the chain, and this is something that caught our attention, because it's like, yes, you have enormous startup costs because just you're building this, but you have 5-6 people like this, 11. It makes sense.
Scale,
And in this case, she was like, okay, let's make a character like that. We work together to mold it. We already have like ideas for gamification, working on the Snapchat show, and this is like OnlyFans as well, of the character, not of her. Because that was also one thing that the girls were super interested in. Women are like, I want to do OnlyFans because my actual fans are asking for it, but I don't want to compromise myself.
And integrity and everything.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, but then we are offering you a way to not, expose yourself and have a piece of that revenue stream.
Plus, this virtual character can have all other social media.
Exactly.
So it's additional revenue stream.
You take the revenue stream of everything.
Yeah. Mind blowing.
Should we show the video? It's hilarious.
I'll put it on live and can be quiet.
Okay.
Just so.
Take this video. This is just one highlight from the stream. She's got many of them.
And for example, that was just like we did at the beginning. There was no animation. So she, as a content creator, she made up the script and she just recorded herself.
Yeah.
So both you have a TikTok content.
And that's 2 hours of the stream.
That was just a bit of the stream.
That's just a small bit of the stream.
Yeah.
Right now we have around 10 hours of content.
Like this.
Yeah.
Which you can cut up and
And put on. Right now we're
That's
starting to
enough
grow.
for a year of posts.
yeah, you
on
just need a
social media.
And she's posting 5 times a week.
Yeah.
For streaming for around 2 to 3 hours, or 4 times a week.
So scalability here is crazy. With one stream
Yeah.
you can cover.
With characters like this, when you have live, let's say we create a character for you guys and you share the content, the scalability is huge. Plus you don't have much cost. You have the cost of just upstart cost, and then only if we create some sort of brutes type of animations where it dances, but it makes a lot of sense. It's just a bit of startup cost.
The dancing and that sort of stuff is, again, because then we have another streamer that doesn't have super good discoverability on Twitch.
Yeah.
So then our strategy was like, okay, then let's create content, as much content as you can as the character. And then let's use TikTok and let's use other channels to start driving, from that content back into your Twitch. And let's pop it up a bit. So, there's always a solution that you can find. And that's why we find it way more appealing to work with streamers, because it simply works.
And they know what they're doing. They know how to create content. So even if we would way rather work, let's say, with agency than with a brand, because you guys know how to create content. Just so we have a bit less on our shoulders, because we have a bunch of work right now.
Yeah.
It would be way easier if you guys would be creating content.
Yeah, so I can see, like, similar to just like the streamer knows how to create content for themselves, we know how to create content for brands, because
Exactly.
that's what we do. So I see, like, the two opportunities of, like, us working together for a potential partner is, you take care of the character, the DNA, the selection process. We can take care of what kind of content this character will create, and it builds up. So what kind of content we would create, if we would create it with a normal influencer, impact on what kind of character we create. The amount of content gets us to choose the right technology bundle. That's definitely something that I see, and I hope I hope we can have a live character on the board as soon as possible in our region. But on the other hand, I think what could be done is, for example, if there are content creators that say, I really want to, put my heart and my effort into creating a alter ego of myself, just like Erica, for example, or Schwarzi, or Rimanic, or Lucia, or one of the big TikTokers, for example. Should they reach out? Should they say, do they have to pay you up front, or is there a revenue share model behind it? Or, like, if we're not looking at the VTuber scene, but we're looking at, like, regular TikTok or Instagram scene.
So right now we're only working with US Twitch streamers.
Yeah.
So for us, it would need to be a
Big
really
enough
unique
to make sense.
opportunity for us to work with, like, a TikToker, let's say.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense for us, because it's way harder to monetize unless he's a Twitch streamer. Because it's great if you know how to create TikTok content, but it's way easier to kind of convert people into buyers through medium content, right, from YouTube and Twitch.
Just so, like, everybody on the, like, so us and everybody in this team can just start thinking of like what's available now and how to get it. And then also, we just did the big project together for Game Gang, which is the biggest Slovenian gaming community. They had the big gaming festival, and I know we work with Twitch streamers and gamers and so forth. So I guess there are people that also in the region could be put together to find the reason of why to start it. Because I guess it's someone will have to make the first move. Either a content creator will have to say, how much do I have to pay to create my alter ego? I know I'll monetize it. Or a brand will have to say, I believe I want to start the revolution. Just like somebody had to be the first on TikTok. Like someone did in 2020.
And on Twitch and everywhere else.
Keep in mind, like, let's say there's somebody watching from Serbia or, like, a bit bigger country. We would love to go into, like, like Germany and try to create the biggest VTuber in Germany, in France, in Balkan region. Slovenia is just too small. It just doesn't make sense right now.
Just for VTubers.
I mean, it doesn't make sense for the way that we are doing things right now.
Got it. I understand.
Because we want, like Tim said, we want to be, you want to be part, of course, also of a Slovenian VTuber. Of course, you want to be part of it. And if you can manage it, lower cost, more revenue share, then so be it. It's just we start with specific thresholds because those are the markers that help us.
It makes financial sense for all parties, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so for VTubers specifically, it's good to have a larger market, but to develop some character for a brand,
this could be
different.
It's different.
And in Slovenia, I think could work super well because nobody's done it yet. So if it's done properly, this thing could go viral.
Yeah, and I think it's the same for the entire Adriatic region. It's still a very there's a big potential in the market. Guys, any closing words? Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd say for brands especially who doesn't have only Slovenian market, but also like the whole Balkan, this would be a great opportunity because if we're posting from Slovenia or any region in Balkan and you go viral on all Balkan, let's say Chocolino or something like that. Yeah,
like Lina Bear.
You get exposure to the whole Balkan, not just Slovenia, and that's it. Exactly. It makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I have a lot of questions, a lot of ideas, so hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
We can go for a coffee or a late lunch, we can definitely pop it out. So Sure. But otherwise, it was absolutely lovely.
Yeah, great discussion. Thank you,
guys. Thank you so much. We'll be sure to send you the link to the entire live stream. We'll try to get the chapters on as soon as possible, so you can click either to VTubers or whatever. And then we'll send you the presentation and kind of not a transcript, but just sort of like the main points we've been making. So you can use that to move the stuff on your end to kind of get the ball rolling in our region. And then of course, just like we'll have all our contact details here, so you can get in touch, and hopefully next time we'll be talking, we'll show some local examples.
Hopefully,
local examples of If not anything else, we're gonna have your statue come to life.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be great.
We'll pop it.
Guys, thank you so much.
Don't forget the next deep talk is May 10th. So we'll send out the invitations this Friday, and we'll be talking about content creation with AI, right?
Exactly.
So don't miss out.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.